What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. Now you guys can probably already tell it is going down. Just by that title alone, definitely going to see this one. As we got an explosion on the set, ABC's The View, guys. It seems like if those ladies aren't fighting with the guests that they invite onto the show, they're fighting amongst each other. Tons of infighting. No different in this segment, guys. I'm excited to get into it. So we're not straight into it. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Before we even get into it, you guys, hit that like button, also hit that subscribe button for your boy. And without further ado, let's jump straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
He said, you know, in agencies, they are trying to run. These people are inexperienced. They're ridiculous. They're incompetent. They won't get anything done. They might even fail to win confirmation. In other countries and at other times, when would-be authoritarians try to consolidate their power, they do so by placing fools and jesters into positions of extraordinary power. And he goes on to say the absurdity is a cloak. It's a way of covering up the fact that they are underestimated is a feature. The loyalty that they have to the strong man is really the thing. And so he is hiring appointing all of these people that are woefully inadequate, woefully mediocre.
And that's the thing that I really want to point out. It really bugs me about these. Think about it, guys. It could literally be anyone, guys. Donald Trump come out and appoint Jesus Christ to his cabinet, and these ladies on the set of ABC's The View, it just seems like the hate towards Donald Trump and everyone associated with him, it comes along with it. Doesn't matter who it is, they're going to say that he's not up for the job or she's not up for the task.
Of these people that are woefully inadequate, woefully mediocre, cannot do this job because he wants to consolidate power as a fascist does. And we need to be very clear-eyed about, and not so much joke about these types of appointments, because he is doing this intentionally right in front of our faces.
So I'm honestly in wait-and-see mode. I'm kind of eating my popcorn, and I've said what I have to say about Donald Trump.
You made fetch happen.
Exactly. But
Yes,
I've said what I'm worried.
And a lot of Dems are in what she's calling the wait-and-see mode because they're tired of the lies, the gaslighting, and just trying to scare us in or scare them into believing one way or another when they know it's not the truth. I mean, she's like everyone else at this point. Like, we're gonna wait and see Donald Trump become this dictator because it hasn't happened yet. I mean, come on, you guys.
Said what I have to say about Donald Trump.
You made fetch happen.
Exactly. But I've said what I'm worried about Donald Trump, and I remain worried about the things that I said, but he does have a right to pick who he wants to. Dr. Oz, listen, it wouldn't have been my choice, but I think John Fetterman said it well. If Dr. Oz is about protecting and preserving Medicare and Medicaid, I'm voting for the dude. It's an administrative job. He's going to be surrounded by bureaucrats who know how to run and manage those things. And on the Linda McMahon event, I kind of have to defend her because she started what was a regional business, turned it into a multinational, multi-billion-dollar business. She was then small business administrator in the former Trump administration. She'd served in the Connecticut School Board, and I know a lot of this for only 2 years, I think. I know this panel doesn't agree with school choice, but I strongly do, and elections have consequences. I'm going to say it now, and I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. I don't think Donald Trump is just going to abolish the Department of Education. I think he's
Exactly, guys. If anything, he's going to go in there and enrich the Department of Education. He's trying to, move it back to a state level away from the government. Is it just me, or is Alyssa Farrah Griffin starting to sound like a Trump supporter again? It may just be me. You guys got to let me know.
If I'm wrong, I don't think Donald Trump is just going to abolish the Department of Education. I think he's going to move to invest more in voucher systems, in education savings plans. And I personally, one of the things I agree on is I think school choice is important. I think that the money should follow the student. We also need to pay teachers more. We also need to have a GI Bill for teachers. But I don't think your wealth, your zip code should determine your outcome. We talk on the show all the time about education's the great equalizer. If you have a 4-year degree, you live 9 years longer in this country. That starts at pre-K. That starts in elementary
but everybody
school.
doesn't go to college. Everybody's
no, and I agree. I don't think they need to.
And they're missing. Whoopi comes in. It seems like they're never on the same page. This is how the arguments start, guys. Key and Whoopi's on a whole different point. Alyssa Farrah Griffin is saying, your zip code, your area code, where you live at should determine whether or not you have access or you're able to go to college. Whoopi comes in just with the most irrelevant. Watch, they're gonna get into
Hey,
it.
that starts in
but
elementary
everybody
school.
doesn't go to college.
No,
Everybody
and I agree.
what?
I don't think they need to. But I don't think we should make kids be victims of schools that are falling behind. And if she moves that direction, I'm willing to see if that works.
Well, just to get in here real quickly, as
That's
I'm
facts.
listening, each time I come into work and there's a new headline of who he appointed, I'm like, when is this all going to stop? Because I'm so tired of having to read in to every damn department that he has to name someone for, because it's just, I can't be alone in thinking that we need a break from all of this, because we don't know what these people are going to do yet. Like, they haven't even started. We don't know if they'll be, if they'll get through Senate approval. We don't know if they're. So I'm going to not gloom and doom yet. I'm also in eat your popcorn mode. But I do disagree on her policy, because I'm someone that's really big on the robust public schools, and it's just a policy debate. But I recognize that, due to my vote, this is one of the consequences I'm going to get. But I don't think he's going to tear down the Department of Education.
I just want to say
Why?
something
He loves
about
the poorly educated. Didn't you hear him?
Here we go, guys. Right here. This is how it all gets going. You can see it right now where it's all lined up. Seems like Alyssa, Farrah, Griffin, Sarah Haynes are at a coming to reality point where they're realizing Donald Trump and his cabinet appointees are not so bad, whereas the other ladies are just gone, guys. The Trump derangement syndrome. Here it goes. Watch.
Down the Department of Education.
I just want to say
Why? He
something
loves
about
the poorly educated. Didn't you hear him? He said
didn't
that
do
when
it
he
in
was
his
running.
first
Can I
term.
just
I
say
love the
something
poorly
about school
educated.
choice?
Go ahead.
'Cause
Yeah.
I think it's really important. You know, when you hear about school choice, it's really connected to the voucher system. And I encourage everybody to read up on that. What happens, the Department of Education is responsible for $18.4 billion that fund high poverty K through 12 schools. Schools where kids are poor. Kids that grew up in neighborhoods like I grew up in the South Bronx.
Oh my good. She sounds like someone Kamala Harris and her she sounds like a twin right now. The way I grew up just like trying to relate to these folks, their struggle. We knowing Sunny Hostin has lived in a bubble world, and she still does. I don't know why she always tries to inject herself into poverty when we know she lives in a completely different reality. That's how they try to get folks on their side. They'll listen to her, guys.
That fund high poverty K through 12 schools. Schools where kids are poor. Kids that grew up in neighborhoods like I grew up in the South Bronx projects. $15.5 billion from the Department of Education is used to cover the cost of children with disabilities, children that have dyslexia, children that have other learning needs, that learn differently. And what happens with vouchers, the studies show very clearly that they fund students who are already attending private schools. So people with money get those vouchers, use the vouchers to pay less for their private schools, and their kids go on to do well. Where do you get the money from vouchers? You pull those money from those poor schools, those poor
I don't
schools.
see it.
Let me just finish this. So wealthy
my
families
goodness.
are overwhelmingly the recipients of school voucher tax credits. I'm not making this up. This has been studied.
Who's
In
that cited?
2020,
Who's this-
a 2020 study found that only about half of states with voucher programs require teachers to have a bachelor's degree, require teachers to have training, require teachers to have
So that's just
licensing,
not my
require
experience.
participating
So
private schools.
If I may get in, just to make it a conversation.
Wait, but because I have children and because
that
I
what
looked
this
at
is?
the private
Oh my goodness. Do you guys hear Sunny Hostin? Her, because she has children is why she, and once again, I go back to she lives in a literal celebrity bubble, guys. Her children have never had to deal with a voucher program or going to a public school where it is rough. You know, I've definitely attended some rougher public schools growing up and was fortunate enough that my families were, able to come into a better situation and put me into a better position. But when you're in those public schools, you don't want to hear folks like Sunny Hostin trying to relate, put her kids in the same position as you, like they're struggling and they're going through it, and she understands, relates because she has kids. I mean, come on, listen to her. It's about to start.
require teachers to have
So that's just
licensing,
not my
require
experience.
participating
So the
private schools.
If I may get in, just to make it a conversation.
But because I have children and because
that
I
what
looked
this
at
is?
the
I
private
went
schools,
to public school. I believe you got to go to private school.
there is zero statistical
You got to go to
significance.
private
that
school. When you
vouchers-
talk about
because
how
nobody
education
can figure
helps
out what's
one
being
last
said
point.
here.
One last
Once again, getting called out for living in that glass bubble. You went to private school, Sonny. You cannot relate. Bliss is even saying, hey, I went to public school. I know what the struggle, I can relate Sonny Hostin doesn't know how it is. Guys.
I went to public school. I believe you got to go to private school.
There is zero statistical
You got to go to
significance.
private school.
Because nobody can figure out what's being said here right now. No, there is no last thing right now. We're going to go to break, and then we're gonna come back.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. Talk about an explosion on the set. ABC's The View. I told you guys, if it's not the guests that they invite onto the show that they're attacking, they're fighting between each other, you know, attacking one another. I mean, come on, you just cannot stoop down to that level of hatred of one single person entity. It just seems like Donald Trump is so into these ladies' heads, especially that Sonny Hostin, Joy Behar, Whoopi. They prove it time in and time out that Trump derangement syndrome truly has like almost a brain rot effect, where they just can't see past anything this man does. I mean, coming after every single person he appoints into his cabinet, it seems like, you know, he can do no right with these folks. No matter what Donald Trump does, it'll never be seen as beneficial to our country. It just does not make sense. I mean, when the record has shown, Donald Trump's track record is above and beyond. And then I don't know what's gotten into that Sonny Hostin. We got Alyssa Farrah Griffin that's putting her in her place saying, hey, you know nothing about what the struggles are, how it is coming from a public school. You got the ability, you were allowed to go to private school. You have no right. You're in a lane that you should not be speaking upon. Guys, definitely hop in the comment section though. Let me know your thoughts. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button, man. Hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next one. We